This is Drive Time with DERUSHA.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Here's the star of the show and your host,
Jason DERUSHA.
Are you ready? All right.
Now live on your radio and streaming to the world at WCCORadio.com and the Odyssey app. Here's Jason DERUSHA.
Well, this is exactly what I was talking about when I said there was no way on earth I would vote for Donald Trump. And we're seeing it over the last couple of days as it relates to a political assassination here in Minnesota. It's Jason. Welcome to Drive Time with DERUSHA. I would love to hear from a Donald Trump supporter, a voter, who can defend what we have been seeing today. And I got to be honest, I hesitated to even bring up this topic because so much of us have been thinking about turning down the political temperature, and I don't want people to make this incredibly personal or incredibly angry. But I am so disappointed at the president of the United States acting like an absolute baby, like a man-child, refusing to reach out to the governor of Minnesota in an absolute horrific political assassination in our state because he doesn't like because he doesn't like Tim Walz, because he thinks Tim Walz is a disaster. This is America. This is the president of the United States of America, just an absolute child. 651-461-9226. Somebody make it make sense to me. It started over the weekend. He was like, maybe I'll call him, maybe I won't. We'll see. Now, at the same time, you got J.D. Vance, who is acting like an absolute adult, a leader, the vice president of the United States, when in the middle of a manhunt for a political assassin. The vice president calls the states like, hey, we got you. The FBI's on it. Department of Justice is on it. We're here for the people of Minnesota. This approach from the president of the United States, I believe, is part of the problem with our discussions about politics today, and that is that we make everything so damn personal. It's got to be, I can't call Minnesota because Tim Walz is a disaster. Grow the hell up. Are you kidding me? All right, I said I wasn't going to get mad. But it just makes me so mad. Here is the sound. I was talking to Adam Carter about this today. I'm like, Adam, I don't even know if I want to bring this up because I'm not sure I can do it without, you know how I get. Like, I'll start like around here, a temperature, like I'm around 250. I'm always like around 250. You're kind of warming up the oven, and then something happens, and all of a sudden, before you know it, the broiler is firing hot. Let's go. Here's Donald Trump. Defend it. Someone defend this to me, because I cannot make any sense out of it. It is so disappointing, and to me, it absolutely goes to the fact that character has to be an issue when you step in the ballot box. We cannot just reduce everything to, I think this will be good for my pocketbook or for my taxes or for the economy. And so, too bad that the guy's a jerk. Here it is.
On Minnesota, there were a lot of horrific details that came out today about the suspect who's been charged there. Have you called the governor yet or been able to speak to any of them?
I don't really call him. He appointed this guy to a position. I think the
You pause it right there, Dan.
So whacked out. I'm not calling him. Why would I call him? I could call him and say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
All right, so I want to play it. I want to play it again because already we have the president in chief, the social media poop talker here. Wow, he appointed the guy. You're the president of the United States. You should have better information than that. So, Dan, play the start of what he said. So, and I'll talk over the beginning of this because this is a reporter on an airplane. So it's a little
On Minnesota, there were a lot of
it's like, Minnesota's been through a lot. We learned a lot more.
Have you called the governor
Have you
yet
called
or
the
been able to
governor?
speak to any of them?
I don't really call him. He appointed this guy to a position.
All right, stop right there. He appointed this guy to a position. there are still people kind of spreading that around on social media. And it's totally understandable if you don't have your, arms around how these kind of political appointments work in Minnesota. But there are 140 some advisory boards in the state of Minnesota. And the suspect in this case was appointed by Governor Dayton, reappointed by Governor Walz. And I was talking to a friend of mine last night who sits on one of these tech entrepreneur advisory boards. And he said on the application, they do ask you if you have political association, but you don't have to answer it. And in the case of the suspect in the political assassination in Minnesota, his initial application did not indicate any sort of political affiliation. To be appointed to a board like this is not political. It doesn't mean you're an associate of the governor. It does not mean anything other than you applied, there was an opening. Maybe it was because they like the company you work for, they like the city you were from, or somebody recommended you. So for the president of the United States to be just spewing out something that he probably saw on social media is the peak of irresponsibility outside what he continues to say about the governor. We'll keep playing it from where we are.
He appointed this guy to a position. I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out. I'm not calling. Why would I call him? I could call him and say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue.
The guy doesn't have a clue. All right. First of all, you don't call the governor because you're giving him and Trump knows this. He was the president before. I feel like, was he more decent the first time around and now just doesn't care? This is enough. Enough. And I will share some of the text coming in. But for those of you who are coming with the, Walz did it. Walz did this wrong. Walz did that. I will address that. Because there was a time that I was an 8-year-old boy. And that was how I had arguments. If I got in trouble, I'd try to blame my brother. Well, Dan did this. What is wrong with you people that this is where we're at? That is the response? I will say what I wish Minnesota's governor said today. You heard in the news the statement that the governor's office issued. I think it was incomplete. I'll tell you what I wish Tim Walz said. And I do want to understand if you can defend this, try harder than Tim Walz said some mean things. Because this is not about any one person. And this is where our politics has absolutely lost its way. This is about all of us. 651-461-9226. Are you as irritated as I am? Because even knowing what we know, to me, this is a new low. 651-461-9226. Drive Time coming back in just a minute.
You're listening to Drive Time with DERUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hi, it's Vanita, and we know how great the John Schuster Group is, but it's wonderful to hear from people who have benefited from that relationship. One of them is Ray from Minnetonka. Ray, thanks so much for joining us. Why did you choose the John Schuster Group?
At our first meeting with Tim and Abby Lehman, we clicked right away.
What was your experience like selling your home with the John Schuster Group?
It was incredibly simple. Our first day on the market, we got our first offer, and I was like, wow, we did get multiple offers, but we went with the first offer we got on Friday.
Okay, bottom line, why should every WCCO listener contact the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, when it's time to move?
From the moment they walked into our home, we had nothing to worry about with them. We're just beyond our expectations. We just can't thank them enough.
952-222-9000 online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
New month, new flavors. Jordana here for my friends at Mini Leaf. I'm talking about those Sleep Night gummies. I know you love them, and they even have a new and improved Sleep Night gummy. But here's a twist. They got some new flavors. So, better sleep and some yummy new flavors. Great grape, green apple, snooze, and mellow mango in the nighttime blend. And of course, everybody loves the peaceful pineapple. That still exists in those Sleep Night gummies. Better sleep is the way to a better you. Mini Leaf can make that happen. I give these out to friends all the time. I recommend them for anybody who's having sleep troubles. You guys know they help me get off my Ambien, really. These gummies help me get off a pharmaceutical. I hope they will do wonders for you. Here's how you get them. Minileaf.com. MINNELEAF.com.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is Drive Time with DERUSHA.
20 plus years of being a news anchor and reading teleprompters your whole career. And then somebody gives you an opportunity to just say what you really think, and you just get unhinged and you just go for it.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
If the world was ending, I wanna be next to you.
Tim Walz has had his part in the name calling and the escalation, right? The rhetoric, for sure. That has nothing to do with a president who had empathy, integrity, desire to lead, calling Minnesota and just saying, look, we got the whole federal government behind this and behind you. Go get justice for the citizen legislature and legislator and her husband who were politically assassinated. Simple. He just can't. He can't. Governor Walz's spokesperson responded today saying Governor Walz wishes that President Trump would be a president for all Americans, but this tragedy isn't about Trump or Walz. It's about the Hortman family, the Hoffman family, the state of Minnesota, and the governor remains focused on helping all three heal. I wish, and maybe he will at some point, but I do wish that Governor Walz would take some accountability for using terms like Gestapo and, pushing back as personally as he has in some times. But this is no like, oh, it's equal. Like, well, Walz does it, Trump does it. No. Donald Trump is the president of the United States in a time of a political assassination in one of the states. That president refuses to call the governor because, quote, he's a mess. The guy doesn't have a clue. Pathetic. James is in Chanhassen on the CCO Talk and Text line. I appreciate you calling in, James. How do you kind of justify it? Go ahead.
Yeah. You know what, Jason? I love you and I love the show. And I don't always agree with you today. I don't agree with you. So I think you are so far off base that you do not think that Governor Walz's rhetoric is problematic. It is absolutely.
Now, when did I say it wasn't problematic? I said I wish he would apologize for it.
You want the president to call this guy who has created ICE agents to become harmed. He has called just awful things, that he's a dictator, that he's starting the Gestapo, and he hasn't walked. He just said recently, we need to elevate this. Governor Walz has got blood on his hands over this situation, and you know what?
How do you say that? How do you say that? Why does
he's saying we need to bully the shit out of Trump?
Yeah. Can't say that. Can't say that. So again, what James is saying is he did it. He did it too. Is that's good enough for us? That's fine. Well, you know what? If we have a massive flood or if we have tornadoes wipe out one of our towns, the man-child president of America is going to say like, oh, good luck, Minnesota, because my feelings are hurt because Tim, come on. Come on. Jason, this is gaslighting at its worst. Most can't stop blaming Biden for every screw up. Are we capable of having a conversation about the situation in front of you? Well, once like Bill Clinton was really mean to, like, come on. The Biden administration was way worse, says another texter. Don't you remember how the Biden administration was not way worse? I mean, I'm not really here to weigh like who's worse, who's this, who's that. I'm looking at this situation when our state is faced with an absolute horrifying scenario. For 2 days, a political assassin was on the loose. Trump's rhetoric has changed his country forever. Our children will suffer for it. I have always pushed back on this idea that Donald Trump is to blame for this. I think we as a society have allowed this to happen. The chasing of clicks and clout on social media. And frankly, I think the lack of in-person contact that we've had since COVID has all contributed to a coarseness, all contributed to sort of turning people into caricatures instead of people. And so it's easy to just go at them. It is so 8-year-old kid stuff, says another texter. Jeff is in Sauk Rapids on CCO. Jeff, you're on the air.
Jason, we haven't learned a damn thing.
No.
3 days later after the assassination of a legislator and her husband, another legislator and his wife shot to hell.
Yeah.
An entire state's legislative body shaken to its core. And we haven't learned a damn thing because it don't quit. You earlier said that you had something you wish Governor Walz would have said. If he were sitting here right now with me, I'd tell him for the rest of that man's tenure or yours, you ignore him. Just never, ever again dignify anything he says with a response of any kind. In the words of Chad Hartman, you're dead to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish Walz would proceed that way.
Thanks, Chef. I appreciate it. Texter, makes me sick to my stomach when people say Walz has blood on his hands. For what? So when Trump's words incite, does anything happen to him? You know, I think folks need to, everyone who has sent me a text defending Donald Trump, read those words, and would you accept that if your kids said it to you when they were in trouble for something? Like this. Governor Walz uses hate speech. Did Walz call Trump when he was nearly assassinated? I mean, what are you talking about? The president calls states when there are natural disasters, when there are moments of tragedy. It should not be that hard for the president of the United States to say, I'm calling to support the people of Minnesota. I don't give a damn who the governor is. I don't care if I like him or if I don't. And the fact that people are doing backflips to try to justify this about Joe Biden said this and Tim Walz said that, you're missing the point. The point is that we're making this so personal. You are giving politicians the license to make it about each other instead of making it about us. That's what you're doing. Texture says I got cut off. Yeah, there are certain words you can't say on the radio, so we had to cut you off. Trump sent the federal prosecutor to prosecute the case. He is using his administration, but he doesn't need to call Walz and do a kumbaya with Walz. You are correct. The president does not need to do a grown-up leadership thing. He doesn't. The prosecution will continue. Life will go on. But here today, Tuesday, just a couple days after Melissa Hortman got a knock on the door by someone who had a list of Democratic legislators that he decided it was a good idea to go out and try to kill. Today, you have given permission for the president of the United States to be a baby and say he's not calling the state to give support because it will be a waste of time because Tim Walz is a disaster. Come on. You have elected a president who is a child. And we're going to have conversations in the coming years about issues. There are going to be plenty of times where I agree with Donald Trump on a certain issue. I will never support him as a man because this is not what I want my kids to be like when they get older. This is not what I want my young men to grow up to. And this isn't what you should want either. And I think if you were being honest, you would admit that. It's 3:31. We're going to do weather and traffic together. And you know what? What do you think, Dan? Should we give away some concert tickets
Let's
next?
do it.
I think you guys need some concert tickets. We're going to do that. Name that tune for Keith Urban tickets right now. 6-5. You can love Trump. You can love Walz. You can hate politics in general. Do you love Keith Urban and winning free tickets? We will give away tickets to the Keith Urban Show in St. Paul coming up this September. Let's go. Name that tune at 651-461-9226. We'll have some fun on a Tuesday here on Drive Time.
This is Drive Time with DERUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Take care of your skin. It's Jason here from my friends at Tureen Dermatology. Dr. Mohiba Tureen is my dermatologist. I love her so much. I do. She is absolutely amazing. She and her team of 25 more than 25 board certified providers are ready to take care of you and make sure that you are feeling good, looking good, and your skin is healthy. The most important thing as we enter summer is protecting your skin. Wearing a hat, physical barrier, number 1. Sunscreen is number 2. And getting that full body skin checkup is number 3. Make sure that you don't have melanoma to worry about, the beginnings of skin cancer to worry about. Tureen Dermatology will take care of you. Tell them you heard it on CCO. You can book your appointment online. There are 9 locations, including brand new in Lakeville. They're brand new, relatively in Hudson. Beautiful new facility out there. I go to Roseville. Tareen is TAREEN, dermatology.com.
Your labs are troubling. Blood pressure's fine, but your local news levels tanked. 0 breaking news in the bloodstream, and you haven't heard a weather update since last Thursday? Your WCCO levels are dangerously low. I'm writing you a prescription. 3 hours of drive time with DERUSHA, then Henry Lake until bedtime. And take 2 weather forecasts, just to be safe.
Side effects may include being the most informed person in the room. Binge the broadcasts at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Looking for the best way to travel? Jefferson Lines is your top choice for daily transportation. Now offering daily trips from Minneapolis VA Medical Center to St. Cloud VA Medical Center for as low as $11. With routes to every corner of Minnesota and thousands of destinations nationwide, Jefferson Lines makes travel easy and convenient. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, individual charging outlets, and reclining seats for a comfortable, connected ride. Hurry, seats are filling up fast. Book your next trip today at jeffersonlines.com.
612 Saturdays are back at Target Field. Enjoy $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food when gates open.
I'm from the 952. Can I enjoy 612 Saturdays?
The 952 is welcome.
I'm from the 218.
218, 651. Everyone is welcome at 612 Saturdays.
I'm from the 313. How about me?
That's Detroit.
Yeah.
Sure. Enjoy the weekend wind-up with 612 Saturdays presented by Carbliss. $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food. When we're together, the Twins rise as one. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21. With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Add some star-spangled style to your summer with Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale going on now. Shop Hot Buys for every room in your home, now just $6.99. Plus, you can save up to $1,000 store-wide. And don't miss upgrading your patio. Save up to 20% on select outdoor furniture. Or feel the freedom to buy now and pay over time with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Traffic brought to you by American Rare Coin and Collectibles. Find them at AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. Taking a look at the roads, it looks like if you're headed north on 169, be prepared to be on the brakes. There is a car fire on 169 right about 10 up in Elk River. That's right around Main Street exit. So things are backing up there. If you're on 610 westbound at Zachary and Elm Creek, it looks like someone might have lost their bumper. So if you're missing a bumper, head over there to grab it. Otherwise, be on the lookout so you're not running into it. When a loved one passes, or it's time to settle an estate, the valuables left behind can feel overwhelming. At American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington, we help navigate these moments with clarity and care. Peace of mind starts with your appointment. AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. That's a look at your roads. I'm Darren Kmeyer on News Talk 830 WCCO.
In its centennial year, the DAV of Minnesota remains dedicated to helping thousands of veterans access the benefits they've earned. And you can make a difference. Volunteer to transport veterans, advocate for improved programs, or donate today at davmn.org.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, the weather forecast brought to you by DAV of Minnesota. A little bit of rain in the state right now. Little Falls is getting some storms. Otherwise, it's just hot. Here's Chris Schaefer.
We'll keep a mostly cloudy sky into the night tonight as we drop back to 65. Mix of sun and clouds tomorrow. A few isolated afternoon showers popping up. Nothing severe expected. 80 will be the high tomorrow. Up to 87 on Thursday with rain late. That rain will spill into Friday morning, and it's going to get hot and humid. Highs up in the 90s. And like I said, quite muggy.
Right now, it is 78 degrees and cloudy in downtown Minneapolis on CCO.
DERUSHA now returns on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Is not knowing what we could have been.
Oh, just such a short little clip. We're so tricky. We're giving away tickets to Keith Urban. XL Energy Center, September 26th. Tickets are on sale right now at livenation.com. We got a bunch of contestants lined up to play Name That Tune. Ed in Maple Grove, you are first up, and Dan will give you one more little clip. Go ahead, Dan.
Is not knowing what we could have been.
Sounds lovely. Can you name that tune, Ed?
Oh, can I hear it again?
Sure, we'll give you one more. Why not?
Is not knowing what we could have been.
Ed?
No, sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
All right, try again tomorrow, Ed. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll do it all week. Mary in Ellsworth, save me a cheese curd if you get this one right. What do you think? Can you name that tune?
Oh my gosh, that is a hard one too. I'm gonna guess though.
Okay.
Next up is me.
No. Oh, I'm sorry, Mary, and no cheese curd for me. Scott in Farmington, you're next up. Scott, you heard the clip. Can you name that Keith Urban song?
Making Memories of Us.
Oh, my goodness. 0 for 3. 0 for 3. Let's go to line 5 and Maria. Maria in Elk River, you're up next. Maria, can you name this Keith Urban tune?
Can you play it one more time?
Sure, we'd love to. Here we go.
Is not knowing what we could have been.
Do you know?
No, I can't.
Oh, no, Maria, thank you. All right. So what that means is we need more callers. At this point, you should have been able to Google it. Dan's going to pick up a line at 651-461-9226. Man, they really made these hard, didn't they? Let's see if we can get it. This is the Keith Urban Show on September 26th. It'll be at the St. Paul Arena. Ann, you're up. Can you name the Keith Urban song?
Without You?
Oh, no. Ann, that is not correct. More callers are coming in. Somebody's going to get this. This is the first time we've had to go this long through. Because I think that would be great. It's hard to give away tickets. Oh, poor Dan. Someone's calling right now to engage on the last topic. I mean, I could read some of the messages I got on X about this. You know, we could do that. I think that'd be good. Here we go. Dan's got another contestant up. It's Carol in Champlin. Carol, can you name it?
Is it You'll Think of Me?
Is not knowing
oh, we did it.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh.
So take your records, take your freedom, take your memories.
I was for sure getting nervous about that. Oh my goodness. You did it. You did it. You did it. Carol, we're going to have to turn the whole radio station over to callers all day trying to guess this dang song if you didn't get it right. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
September 26th, you will be at XL Energy Center. We thank livenation.com for providing the tickets. You can buy tickets. They're on sale right now for the show at livenation.com. It's a Friday night at the X, 7 p.m. show. And are you a super fan? Are you a Keith Urban fan, Carol?
I love Keith Urban. Yep.
Favorite song? What's your favorite? Well, now your favorite song should be "You'll Think of Me," I think. But what's your favorite? Got a favorite Keith Urban song?
I kind of like The Fighter too.
Oh, that is a good song. That is a good song. We're so glad you won. We're so glad you listened to the show. Congratulations. I'm thrilled for you. Who are you going to bring?
Probably my husband.
All right. Well, tell him he's got to play his cards.
That's
right.
quite the pause before getting around to husband.
Well, but maybe he does. Maybe he wouldn't enjoy it. Maybe it'd be more fun with a friend.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, you don't owe him nothing, Carol. I mean.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, we're so glad you won. Stay on the line. Dan will get your information. Carol and Champlin. These have been tough. We're going to do this again tomorrow. And if you like winning stuff, we're going to give away more things today because it also is Twins Ticket Tuesday. So not now, as Dan likes to say. But Dan,
not now.
There you go. Dan is very busy. This has been a busy show.
3 guesses who just texted me, and the first 2 don't count.
Yeah. Clearly, our boss, Brad, who loves when these contests are hard. Brad has done a nice job making the first 2 challenging, for sure.
Yeah.
Twins Ticket Tuesday is a little simpler. When you hear the win Twins, you hear the crack of the bat and the we're going to win Twins. Caller number 3, we'll get a 4-pack of tickets for Thursday, June 26th against the Seattle Mariners at 12:10. So starting this weekend, Dan, there is a long homestand.
Yeah, it's about time.
And you got the Brewers here this weekend. And I was looking at the Twins website today because on Saturdays, they're doing this thing where, like, if you come in as soon as the gates open, they've got like $6 beer and $2 hot dogs.
Well, and it's going to be hot this weekend, right?
It's
so
gonna be very
the Brewer
hot.
fans will be sweating all that alcohol out of them.
It's fair. Yeah.
So it'll be good.
It's going to be a lot of sausage aroma. That's how you know if you're next to somebody with like a handlebar Raleigh Fingers style mustache.
That smells of kielbasa.
Yep. That's Usinger's sausage. And what's the I mean, is it Blatt's beer? I don't know what they're brewing in Milwaukee these days.
Liney's. Isn't Leinenkugels over in Wisconsin?
Well, they do since they moved. I think they do make Liney's at the main Miller brewery in Milwaukee. I'm a Sprecher guy. A little Sprecher.
Sure.
They have a great root beer, great cream soda, great orange. I'm not a big alcohol guy.
Outside of wine.
And
spirits.
And also beer. Thursday, June 26th is going to also a chance to play catch in the outfield. So that's pretty cool. So you can do that at twins.com and good stuff. All right. It is 3:46. We're going to take a break. I want to have a little bit of positivity besides giving away tickets. That's pretty positive. But in a time of crisis, man, sometimes there are these moments that make you feel hope. And one of those came from the kids of Melissa and Mark Hortman, the adult children, who had what I think was a pretty awesome list of ways that they want us to honor their parents. Bear in mind, it's Tuesday. This happened on Saturday morning. I'll share the way they want you to honor them and welcome your feedback on the best way that maybe you would want to be honored at 651-461-9226. Drive Time continues on CCO.
Drive Time with DERUSHA is on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm Emma Greed, and I've spent the last 20 years building, running, and investing in some incredible businesses. The more success I've had, the more people started coming to me with questions. How do you start a business? How do you raise money? How do I bounce back from failure? On my new podcast, Aspire with Emma Grede, I'll be answering these questions and more through weekly conversations with the smartest minds out there. Listen to and follow Aspire with Emma Grede, an Odyssey podcast available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Chances are you wanted a home with enough space for your growing family when you were younger. If you bought one and the kids are older now and have moved out, you've probably asked yourself if all the maintenance that comes along with owning a bigger home is really worth it. Hey, it's Vanita. If you're thinking of downsizing, you need to call my friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Dean and Nancy did that, and they had a huge property with almost 12 acres of land. They contacted John, and he was able to do things fast for them for top dollar. Dean and Nancy's home sold in less than 72 hours for more than $25,000 over the asking price. You can have this happen too. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-979-3168. 800-979-3168. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-979-3168.
Oh, fresh coffee or lemonade made with Connecticut water. It's like a refreshing summer vacation. Dave Lee for Aquarius. Enjoy worry-free water throughout your home and save up to 25% on a Connecticut system. Schedule your free water analysis at AquariusHomeservices.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, CCO forecast brought to you by Aquarius Home Services, earning the right to be recommended. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 65. Tomorrow, some isolated afternoon showers. But again, another 80-degree day. The humidity starts ramping up Thursday, Friday. Thursday, high of 87. It's going to be hot and humid this weekend. It's going to be a sweaty graduation party at the DERUSHA house, I'll tell you that much. Right now, it is 78 and cloudy on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DERUSHA.
I don't like the funny stuff. And I know what you're thinking. I'm familiar with your show. You clearly don't like the funny stuff.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
No doubt, as community leaders, business leaders, just downtown residents have been coming together over the last couple of days. Minneapolis Club is a place where I was hanging out there a bit this morning, just, doing a little thinking. It's a great place where you can kind of meet friends after work, happy hour at Charlie's and all of that, but right up the street here. As we try to figure out, how, what does this mean? What does this mean to come together? What does it mean to soften the rhetoric? Are we really softening rhetoric? Is that really happening? That sort of stuff. I found inspiration in the statement that came out from the Hortmans surviving kids. This statement was from Sophie and Colin Hortman. And you think about this, like when a loved one dies, what is the way to honor them? And sometimes you go, I don't know, it's hard to bring some of this heartbreak and the hurt and the fact that you've lost your parents. Day before Father's Day, your parents assassinated. Sophie and Colin Hortman say, if you would like to honor the memory of Mark and Melissa, please consider the following. Plant a tree. Visit a local park and make use of their amenities, especially a bike trail. Pet a dog. A golden retriever is ideal, but any will do. Tell your loved ones a cheesy dad joke and laugh about it. Bake something, bread for Mark or a cake for Melissa, and share it with someone. Try a new hobby and enjoy learning something. Stand up for what you believe in, especially if that thing is justice and peace. There's a lot of politicians posture about how they're going to be better and how they're going to examine themselves and all of that. And the truth is, as we have conversations that often are about things that we disagree about, because by talking about things you disagree about, sometimes you get insight, you get understanding. You can maybe move together to a commonality. But the truth is often talking about things you disagree about just reinforces how far apart we are. Having Sophie and Colin bring it down to really what their takeaway is of their mom and of their dad. To me, I just found this incredibly moving. And moving in this idea, and it's something that Dan has talked about in his Monday message, that a lot of times the magic of life and the beauty is in nature. It is in animals. It is in stepping outside of what our normal stuff is. And you think, man, you know, when our time is up, what a tribute from a couple of kids, right?
An amazingly mature and thought out and heartfelt statement from them. And it was really, it's the humanity in it that grabbed me, because everything we've talked about with this incident has a political tinge to it in some way, shape, or form, right? We're worried about who's calling who and whether the guy that shot him was a Republican or a Democrat, or, you know, everything just has this political taint to it. And then you go and read their statement and they're talking about planting a tree. You know what doesn't have a political party? Trees. You know what doesn't have a political party? A golden retriever. Go pet a dog. It's just that humanity to it should stop all of us in our tracks and remind us that they were at the heart of this is a group of human beings, and the politics of it are irrelevant ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to suggest that like we all need to go around thinking about like, oh, well, what do we want? What do we want our kids to say about us when we're gone, right? That's just not what it is. That's not what it's about. Like Mark and Melissa, they sure as hell didn't know that their time was going to be up this weekend. None of us really know, to be honest. You hope that by example that you can inspire something like this, but go to a park. Go ride that bike trail. Go pet that dog. Go laugh. I don't know. It moves me. I hope it moves you too. We're going to break. We'll come back. We'll talk with the mayor of Brooklyn Park after we update you on CBS and local news. Hollis Winston joins us, and a James Beard Award winner. We got two of them from the Twin Cities. We'll talk to one in just a minute.
Stealing Meats of Pierce is where tradition meets taste.
Family grown, employee owned. We've mastered the art of meat.
That's why we're the #1 meat market in Minnesota.
And we're located right here in Pierce.
Check out our mouthwatering selection at thielenmeats.com.
Better yet, stop in and see for yourself. We're serving up love one cut at a time.
Thielen Meats, from our family to your feast.
No meals complete without Thielen Meats
of Pierce.
Thinking about buying or selling a business, the right legal team makes all the difference. At Helmuth & Johnson, our team specializes in sophisticated mergers and acquisitions, guiding you through every negotiation, contract, and closing with skill and precision. From due diligence to deal structuring, we are 100% client-focused, protecting your interests so you can focus on success. Big or small, we make complex transactions seamless. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side, for all of your business needs.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Financial literacy. It's amazing they don't teach it in school. Listen to the Investing with Confidence show every Sunday at 11 p.m. and join us for a free investing class by texting the word investing to the number 210-210. Take action today and make a change for tomorrow. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 today.
AM 830 and 102.9 FM HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. The voice of Minnesota and the home of Twins baseball. News Talk 830 WCCO. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump has met with his advisors about whether to join Israel's war on Iran. Linda Kenyon reports from the White House.
The president was huddled in the Situation Room for roughly an hour and 20 minutes. Trump is considering joining Israel in strikes against Iranian nuclear sites. Should the president decide to follow through, there are indications he does not have full agreement among his closest advisors.
Earlier, Trump posted that he knows where Iran's supreme leader is hiding, but he doesn't want him killed for now. CBS's Holly Williams has been following developments inside Iran from our foreign desk.
What's been fascinating to watch is the apparent ease with which the Israelis have been operating in Iran, operating in Iranian airspace, with those targeted killings of scientists and military officials, as well as taking out Iranian air defense systems.
Iranians are fleeing the capital, this woman, through an interpreter.
We've gathered everything we could and brought it with us, and we've left the rest in God's hands. May he protect us all, and may nothing happen to anyone. I hope that one day when we return, everything will be back to normal for all of us.
Members of Congress were briefed today by security officials after the shootings of 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses over the weekend. Capitol Police say the threats against elected officials have dramatically increased. CBS's Scott McFarland reports.
We've heard from some lawmakers who say they've been notified that they were on the target list of this alleged shooter, including a congresswoman from Grand Rapids, Michigan, Hillary Schulten, who canceled a town hall meeting last night because of it, and Greg Landsman, a Democrat from Cincinnati, who says he beefed up his police presence because of that.
An appeals court is hearing arguments today over President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles. In the city, tensions have calmed, as Matt Piper reports.
1 week after a curfew went into effect in downtown Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass has lifted it. She says the curfew was successful in protecting stores, restaurants, businesses, and residential communities from bad actors. It was originally put in place after the LAPD declared an unlawful assembly outside the downtown federal building last Tuesday when protesters shut down parts of the 101 freeway.
Days of heavy rains have led to deadly flash flooding across southern Appalachia, as Jim Krasula reports.
Billy Arrington is among dozens of people who can't get to their homes because of flash flooding in the mountains of southwestern Virginia.
My neighbors started calling me saying it was raining really hard and the creek was up coming into their yard. So I got my stuff together and headed back down this way, and by the time I got here, the road was closed.
More rain in the forecast has prompted flood watches in parts of 7 states.
The Dow finished the day 299 points lower. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business with Progressive and get 24/7 coverage. See if you can save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour on the hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy, 81 degrees at 4:03. I'm Laura Oakes. The shock and sadness still very real for those who knew and loved State Representative Melissa Hortman, including for Representative Zach Stevenson. He worked with Hortman for more than 20 years, capped by many long hours working on a new state budget.
I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful that I had that time at the end.
Legislative leaders announcing plans for a public candlelight vigil tomorrow night on the state capitol steps to honor the victims of Saturday's violence. It is from 8 to 9:30, and attendees are asked to bring their own candles. Later this hour, Minnesota's U.S. Senators Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith will be delivering speeches on the Senate floor, honoring the lives and legacies of House Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark. They will be live streamed at approximately 4:30. In St. Paul, a fresh look at Capitol and lawmaker security protocols in light of the tragedy.
The discussion follows the murders of Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband and the shooting of Senator John Hoffman and his wife. Colonel Christina Bogoyevich with the Minnesota State Patrol says their agency and the Capitol Safety Advisory Council will make key decisions on security changes at the Capitol, like the possibility of installing metal detectors.
We're looking at 20 different buildings throughout the Capitol grounds, and so it's discussing where those would go, whether they're just in the chambers, whether they're in the entrances of the buildings.
She says right now they're focused on increasing general security ahead of the next legislative session and looking at offering legislators more personal security resources. Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830. WCCO.
An unfortunate byproduct of this weekend's violence, the likely damaging of trust people have in law enforcement, according to Hennepin County Sheriff DeWanna Witt.
How do you tell somebody like, okay, he's the only one, right? You worry about people copycatting.
Witt telling WCCO's Adam and Jordana law enforcement needs to work hard to maintain and in some cases rebuild the public's trust.
We got to make sure that we are very attentive to what just happened and know that that is going to raise people's concerns and suspicions now for quite some time. I mean, this is going to have a long lasting effect on people in the communities.
Vance Belter had disguised himself as a police officer. President Donald Trump not mincing words when it comes to his reasons for not calling Governor Tim Walz following the weekend violence.
I don't really call him. He appointed this guy to a position. I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out. I'm not calling him. Why would I call him? I could call him and say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
The accused gunman, Vance Belter, was first appointed to a workforce development board in 2016 by then Governor Mark Dayton. Governor Walz reappointed Belter again in 2019. Governor Walz has reportedly talked with Vice President J.D. Vance. And in other news today, Rochester police say there have been 5 overdose deaths in less than a week, likely due to fentanyl. The most recent cases just this morning where 2 women and a man were found dead inside an apartment building. WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Markets. Shop in store or online. That accident we reported earlier up in Elk River on 169 northbound, right about US 10 and the 5th Street in Elk River, with that crash with the car fire is still being worked on. So if you have an alternate route, I would take it. There are some delays up in that area. If you're up on the north end of town on 694, just north on University, right at 57th, so it's right up when you come off the ramp, there's a vehicle on fire, so things are starting to back up. Expect delays if you're headed south on Highway 100 at the Crosstown ramp. There's an accident, so be prepared for a slowdown. Shop sweet savings at Whole Foods Market. Get red cherries for $4.99 per pound with Prime through June 17th. Bring a bag to your summer picnic to share with your friends. While supplies last, shop in store or online. Terms apply. That's traffic. I'm Darren Kmeyer on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jordana Green here. I pray you and your family are always safe. But if there's ever a time where you need an advocate after an accident, let Mike Bryant of Bradshaw & Bryant help you. He will work with and for you in dealing with the insurance company. Call 800-770-7008 today. Bradshaw & Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys seeking justice for the injured, and you can find them at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Pretty quiet around here, and I like it. Mostly cloudy tonight, 65 the overnight low. Will be mostly cloudy tomorrow. A few isolated afternoon showers are possible. High up near 80. Thursday, warm, 87 with a partly cloudy sky. Rain popping late that spills into Friday morning. This weekend is going to be hot and humid with highs in the 90s.
Mostly cloudy right now, 81 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Even when news happens nationally, we talk about the impact locally. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie, just DERUSHA. It's drive time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise.
I'm super excited to introduce to you
Jason DERUSHA.
And here we go on this Tuesday afternoon, getting ready for a hot week in Minnesota. That is for sure. Very hot weekend as well. Drive time on the air. How hot is it? It's so hot. My wife, in about 45 minutes, we're going to be talking about some of the preparations we've been doing at our home for the young lads' graduation party. We are in the thick of grad party weekend. Saturday, I stopped at 2. It's intense, man. We got a lot of people, a lot of family coming in from out of town, staying at our house. When your wife asks you to weed because you have a party coming, is that a reasonable request? I don't know. Like, there's so much to do to get ready. Weeding the backyard was not on my bingo card as to what I was going to need to be worried about. Let's get to Hollis Winston. He is the mayor of Brooklyn Park. His community absolutely rocked this weekend. His friend, the Speaker Emerita, assassinated in her Brooklyn Park home. Last night, the community came together to grieve, to remember, and Hollis Winston is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. My thoughts have been with you since Saturday, Mayor Winston, and my next door neighbor, as a Maple Grove guy, that 3 mile sort of radius around Edinburgh golf course with the shelter in place came right near my home in Maple Grove. And just I wonder, with now a couple days distance, just your reflection on all that's gone down.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. And congratulations on the graduation.
Yes, thank you.
If you want any cover, I don't know if that is a reasonable request.
That's the mayor saying it. I'm telling my wife for sure. We have to find these moments of joy and love for sure, because I think that's part of moving forward as well.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about just things we've been, I guess there's a couple of things that come to mind. The city is very much grieving. I think it's difficult to put into words, the impact that both Speaker Hortman and Mark Hortman had on the community, and Senator Hoffman is having on the community. But she had to balance both, the city requests, right, local requests, and then she also had to balance. Often helping to run the state, one of the most powerful people in the state. And while she was doing that, I recall her helping me with the youth program. She invited the youth to her house, and they played pool together. She explained politics and her role to the youth, right, to civic education. So I think one person in the community is very much rocked, and I'm glad that Grace Fellowship had that service yesterday, because we are very much pivoting, after the suspect was caught, we're now pivoting to how do we heal, how do we grapple with this. And I think one of the things A couple things that I tell people are incredibly important is realize when you're spreading this information on the internet that there are families behind this. So whatever conspiracy theories people have, you may want to check those. May want to make sure that you have the actual resources, because when you spread a false narrative, the Hortman and the Hoffman families are still really grappling with this piece. And the other piece is that, the suspect really tried to instill a singular narrative of how America should be or what we should think. And I think you have a city like Brooklyn Park, you have Champlin and Brooklyn Park very much on the same page with this. And we're saying as neighbors, we have all the, just different cultures and communities and age ranges, and we're neighbors and we get along. So you've got, over 100,000 people are saying we live a very different reality than what this person tried to tell us America should be. And I think that's what people should take away, is that the majority of Americans are moving in a very different direction.
Take me to Saturday morning. When were you first notified that something was going on?
Oh, I think they probably tried to notify me around, it could have been 4. I'm a very hard sleeper, and I think around 4:30 or 5, my wife heard the phone going off. And so then I immediately popped up and dropped the family off at a, different location, and then went to the emergency operations center, and our police, our whole public safety team actually was hard at work. And I think the thing that impressed me was we immediately received, and I want to thank Governor Walz and Commissioner Jacobson, but we immediately received state resources, and they integrated those and expanded those so quickly. And then as you're driving through Brooklyn Park, you see, officers from different counties besides Hennepin, or you see other cities here, because they were holding out other assets while our police were actively involved in this manhunt. And then we had federal resources, and they were assisting as well. So just to see them quickly all working together, all on the same page, all trying to make sure that certain people were safe was amazing, right? And they were doing that nonstop.
We're talking with Hollis Winston, the mayor of Brooklyn Park, which is the northwest suburb where Representative Melissa Hortman and Mark Hortman lived. There's been a lot of reporting about the Brooklyn Park police sergeant who was kind of wrapping up his overnight shift early in the morning on Saturday. And he heard that Champlin police were responding to a shooting at a state senator's home. And he says, hey, why don't you go up and check on Hortman's house? Right. I'm a huge fan of your police chief. Mark Bruley's been a Brooklyn Park officer since I was a child TV news reporter at Channel 4. Just always been a straight shooter and a great guy, and I think he showed incredible leadership this weekend. But looking at this sergeant, pretty impressive thinking to be like, hey, should we check out the Hortman house?
Yeah, and I think I don't want to insert anything too much from city administration, but I think there's no difference between when you talk about fully funding police but then you also talk about having a very community-minded police department. And I think with the leadership of Chief Bruley, right, and Sergeant Norton, right, I think Bruley has really created this police force that thinks of the community through this really holistic lens, right? And they see people for what they are. And so I think for them that was just very natural to say, oh, wait a minute, what about within our city? Is there any connection to, and then boom, right? And I think his actions because of that saved quite a few lives there, right? And helped us get really upstream of everything that could have happened. So I think it's an excellent police department, but I also want to give them their credit for always keeping the people of the community in mind, and not just responding, but often being proactive.
And I don't want to be obviously we're still very early in the investigation, but I will say knowing that the shooting in Champlin happened around 2:00 and that 90 minutes had passed before we were fortunate enough that your sergeant in Brooklyn Park thought like, oh, I better go check on Representative Hortman. I wonder if you have thoughts, because my reaction after spending a little time thinking about this and not just having a gut check reaction, but I am concerned that there wasn't a more aggressive regional response to be like, we got to get to every elected official's house. 90 minutes is now, understandably, right away, you don't know exactly the circumstance, but we do know in New Hope officers were sent out earlier. So I am a little concerned that, no one told Brooklyn Park, if that is indeed the case, like, hey, you better get to your state senator or state rep's house.
Yeah, and I would just, I don't get too into the facts, right? Because there's still this.
Yeah. I try to raise it delicately because I don't want to be like I'm criticizing the process, but I do want to make sure in the future that, maybe we need a more regional response or a more urgent response, or I don't know, like, is there more we could have done?
Right. I think hindsight is always going to be 2020. I will say that, once more of these details and this timeline come out, I think people are going to understand that a ton of people were thinking quickly and were doing what they're supposed to do. I think when it comes to elected officials, myself included, right? Yeah. If someone tries to get into my house to do this and that, I don't always think that the first thought is, well, that's an elected official, right? It could just be somebody could call it in. It could be like, well, that's a home that somebody lives in, right?
That's a good point.
And we're going to respond to it accordingly. So I don't know all of the facts. I know that, and I can't speak to New Hope and other areas. I know that Champlin and Brooklyn Park, though, they have been working hand in hand. And they've worked very well together on just a number of calls, right? And so I think that on a regular basis. So I think that really helped here.
Do you worry about your own safety as an elected official? Have you ever been on the receiving end of threats?
We've had some, right? When we were running, it's not on a regular basis. But I think just the background I come from, as African American, I think sometimes when you have people that are looking to make changes, right? Sometimes that comes with the territory. And I think really most people get in this to make a change, and you accept that that's a distant but real outcome, right? And so it's not something that really crosses my mind. I'm not really concerned about it. When it was necessary, the resources were there, and it's not a big concern of mine.
Hollis Winston, the mayor of Brooklyn Park, your community has been through it, and we send you our love as a radio station and as neighbors, and Brooklyn Park's gonna get through it. But this is something that's gonna linger. Just is.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you again having me on, and to the community. We've got this thing going around, Brooklyn Park strong, Champlin strong, right? I think the whole state is. We'll get through it. We're really going to grieve with the family. There's going to be a big hole left there. Speaker Mark Hortman, had an outsized impact. But I do believe it's time for us to really turn to grieving and healing and understanding that we have much more in common than we do differences. And those individuals made that very clear to us when they were living. And Senator Hoffman and his wife make that clear to us now. So I think we should honor that and realize ultimately through all the grieving that's who we are.
Mayor Hollis Winston from Brooklyn Park. Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate it. 421. We're back in just a minute. We're going to talk about gas station food. We talk about all the things on this show. We talk about all the things. I got a gas station food story to talk to you about. And we're 15 minutes away to talking to a local restaurant owner who just got one of the highest honors in the food world, the James Beard Award. Drive Time. Lots going on tonight in Twins Ticket giveaway, too. Twins Ticket Tuesday. Why would you be listening to anybody else? Keep it here on CCO.
It's the afternoon ride with Jason DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
If you need to sell your home quickly, who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? Chris Lindahl. It's Jason here. Chris Lindahl is the arms out real estate guy. And what he's got for you, well, he's got a lot for you. Chris helped Alyssa and I when we were looking for a home last year. Great guy. I've known him for a long time. Innovative, generous, kind, leader, all of that. Guaranteed cash offer has been popping. Been popping. Why has it been popping? I asked him. I'm like, what's going on, Chris? He said, we're doing more guaranteed cash offers than almost ever before because the certainty. Right now, there's so much uncertainty. You can't control the housing market. You can't control interest rates. You can't control the economy. What you can control is the guaranteed cash offer. When you accept it, you guarantee your house will be sold. Nobody's going to back out. Nobody's going to flake out. There's going to be no situation that stops it. You pick your closing date. You pick your moving date. You don't have to change out that ugly chandelier or that toilet that you installed and it's lime green and it was really cool in 1968. Chris Lindahl guarantees that cash offer. Go to chrislindahl.com today. Get your guaranteed cash offer. Find out. There's no obligation, but you're going to get to that finish line with Lindahl. chrislindahl.com. Terms and conditions may apply.
Grown-ups, aren't Sundays more fun without... Can I have screen time? Can I have a snack? I don't want to go to Grandma's. It smells funny. And I'm bored. Bored is impossible on Kids Day at Target Field. The gate 30 for lawn is turned into Bullseye's backyard. Kids' meals are half off. Kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game. And Grandma's invited too. Enjoy your weekend wind-up with Sunday Kids Days, presented by Target. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Oh, wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you seen the wind or hail affect your home? Honest Exteriors offers thorough inspections and can be your advocate with those tricky insurance companies. From the first raindrop to the final nail, Honest Exteriors is with you. Local pros, honest work. HonestExteriors.com.
Summer's coolest mattress deals are going on now at Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale. This summer, save up to $1,000 on select mattresses and say goodbye to hot sleep and save up to $500 on the best-selling Tempur-Breeze collection. Plus, feel the freedom to snooze now and pay later with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Better sleep starts at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Drive Time continues on the roads and on your radio. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Me and Jenny Crew were hung out in a small town.
Do you guys know about the, is it Buc-ee's? I meant to look this up, Dan. This is the gas station that people sort of go bananas over. New York Times doing a story today about...
And it's called what?
BUC-EE.
Wasn't that Buc-ee's?
Is it Buc-ee's? I don't know. I
think it's Buc-ee's.
I meant to look it up.
I think it's Buc-ee's.
Why can't I call it Buc-ee?
Well, I mean, you can call it whatever you want.
How am I supposed to know? I don't live in Mississippi. Is it Buc-ee's or Buc-ee's? Somebody texted. Somebody know.
The bougie version of it maybe is Buc-ee's.
Oh, it's BUC. Why wouldn't it be Buc? BUC-EE.
I mean, if we were
Bucky's makes way more sense.
if we were going with the French translation,
I don't know.
You could do Bookies.
I don't know. Look at see if you can find an ad.
Okay.
And then you'll get to it says right here in the article. Rhymes with Lucky's. Bucky's. Gosh, dang it. Sometimes you have a topic kind of loaded up and then you botch the intro or you botch the name of it and you're like, you know what? Forget it. Just forget it. I find it interesting when people get like super passionate about gas station, like the experience, the food, the whatever. Bookies, or as some call it, Bucky's, is one of those places, right? Like, isn't there another one on the East? Wawa is the other one that people sort of go bananas over. And I remember the first time I went to the Wawa and you're like, I don't know, it just seems like a Super America or a Holiday or a Quick Trip. Like, I don't understand what the big Wawa is all about. I just don't know. New York Times sent a correspondent to Bucky's. And it started in Texas. And they're big stores. Very, very big. So, like, they're the size of a football field. But, like, I don't know. Isn't that just what all of these things are? Like, they're big? Have you found a...
No, because YouTube does not have a Bucky's commercial that I would trust to just put on the air, having not heard it. But our friend... and sometimes fill in for you, Chris Eggert.
Yeah.
Has some comments about your
about my pronunciation. I'm sorry I'm not a sort of brilliant news anchor like Chris Eggert. Bucky's. I don't know. I don't even know what my point was anymore.
What a city boy you are.
Yeah,
I the one comment.
You know what? I'm from the Midwest. The only gas station I need is 7-Eleven, Holiday, Quick Trip. Who else do we have in this state that might want to advertise on this show? I don't want to leave anybody out. But we don't have the fancy.
We don't have no Bookies around here.
We don't need it. I don't even want it. If Bucky's tries to come to Minnesota, lock down the borders, I say. Keep them out. Gas station.
But do they have really good food?
I don't know. Isn't that why the biggest thing is they have restrooms that have attendants? Like our standards as a society are so low that we're just excited that there's a good bathroom. I think so. The article said that they have attendants for the bathroom. 2 employees, each earning $20 or more an hour, are detailed the facilities where every toilet is ensconced in a little room of its own.
Oh, my.
I mean, what are we doing? Yeah, Kathy on YouTube.
I mean, if they're using the word ensconced, which is a great word.
Classic New York Times.
You can go with Bookies.
Now, Kathy, who is watching us on YouTube, on the YouTube stream at the WCCO radio page, you just click live. They're known for their gas station pumps and very clean bathrooms.
Is there some sort of gas station pump technology we're not aware of?
The last time I was driving near Milwaukee, there was a sign that said, like, Bookie's coming. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Well, sometimes these segments are good and sometimes these segments are that. So you all could take your Bookies and your Bucky's and very good fresh food. Texters say Bucky's is like the Mall of America. You have to stop at one if you ever drive by one. They're an experience. They have like 100 pumps, says another texter. It's like a department store that makes food and everything. All right. I mean, why not just add a K in there? Then it's Bucky's instead. Then you're set. That's what I'm asking for. Glad you enjoyed that. It's 4:32. Just terrible. How many texts am I getting on my personal phone line from friends who are ripping on me?
Yeah,
That's fine.
one or two.
You know what? We do our best. We're going to go from gas station food to a James Beard Award-winning restaurant. And this place, I guess now I need to ask how to pronounce the name of this restaurant.
Might be a good idea. We should do that during the break.
I believe it's Bucheron, but maybe it's Bucheron. Drive time with the James Beard Award winners from South Minneapolis. Just named the best new restaurant in America. That's coming up.
You're listening to Drive Time with DERUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I do know how to pronounce this, probably just because it's initials. J.H. and Sons. How could I screw that up, Dan Cook? If I said you got to get to the Galleria in Edina and go to I could have called it Johnson's, I suppose. J.H. and Sons. They don't care what you call them. They just want you to go into the store, buy some dang stuff, get some clothes for the man in your life. Maybe you are that man. You deserve it. J.H. and Sons is a specialty men's clothing store. So this is beautiful fabrics, beautiful tailoring, and unbelievable service. Part of what I love about J.H. and Sons is it reminds me of old school service. You get yourself taken care of by somebody who's going to know about your family, know about your job, know about events that are coming up. They're going to call you when they get something they think would look awesome on you. Go experience the difference. Galleria in Edina, it'll remind you of the old-time men's stores where you really get taken care of. And if it's time to get back to the office, a little more time in the office, why not dress up, look good, feel good, be proud, go see my friends. Go see Kevin, go see Dean, go see the whole team at J.H. and Sons. You can sign up for their email list at jhandsons.com.
Minnesota nice with a lot of spice.
Adam, I'm conflicted about this. And
I'm not conflicted at all.
Saying what needs to be said.
Republicans can win. They just need to run better candidates.
He's talking about, I'm young, I'm 23. Dude, you don't know what tomorrow brings. And there's no guarantees in this life.
Smart, sharp, and not afraid to stir the pot.
I am very pro-protest. I am very against violence, vandalism.
So there was no law like that, so people could just do what they want and take kickbacks.
News Talk 830 WCCO.
If you've inherited valuable coins, gold, silver, or jewelry, where do you turn? American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington is the trusted choice. For over 30 years, families, trustees, and advisors have relied on American Rare Coin to evaluate and purchase valuable coin and precious metals collections with honesty, transparency, and immediate payment. We make the process simple, and we're conveniently located in Bloomington on American Boulevard. For experience and honesty, visit AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
New month, new flavors. Jordana here for my friends at Mini Leaf. I'm talking about those Sleep Night gummies. I know you love them, and they even have a new and improved Sleep Night gummy. But here's a twist. They got some new flavors. So, better sleep and some yummy new flavors. Great grape, green apple snooze, and mellow mango in the nighttime blend. And of course, everybody loves the peaceful pineapple. That still exists in those Sleep Night gummies. Better sleep is the way to a better you. Mini Leaf can make that happen. I give these out to friends all the time. I recommend them for anybody who's having sleep troubles. You guys know they help me get off my Ambien, really. These gummies helped me get off a pharmaceutical. I hope they will do wonders for you. Here's how you get them. Minileaf.com. MINILEAF.com.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Most data breaches don't come from hackers. They come from old laptops and phones sitting in closets. Studies reveal that these neglected devices are a leading cause of data breaches. Recycling your electronics protects your data and the planet. At Electronics Recycling of Minnesota, we offer free, secure recycling services for both individuals and businesses, with certified data destruction options available as well. Protect your data. Protect the environment. Learn more at ecyclemn.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
There's a crash on 169 headed north between 81 and 85th in Brooklyn Park. Expect delays up there. Things are still crawling on Highway 100 at the exit ramp for Crosstown due to an accident. If you're headed north on 494, expect delays between Rockford Road and Bass Lake Road. You're looking at about a 5 to 8 minute delay over there. That's your traffic. I'm Darren Kmeyer on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jordana Green here. I pray you and your family are always safe. But if there's ever a time where you need an advocate after an accident, let Mike Bryant of Bradshaw & Bryant help you. He will work with and for you in dealing with the insurance company. Call 800-770-7008 today. Bradshaw & Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Bradshaw and Bryant seeking justice for the injured. Bring us Chris Schaefer.
We'll keep a mostly cloudy sky. Drop back to 60. The afternoon showers popping up. Nothing severe expected. 80 will be the high tomorrow. Up to 87 on Thursday with rain late. That rain will spill into Friday morning, and it's going to get hot and humid. Highs up in the 90s. And like I said, quite muggy.
78, mostly cloudy in Minneapolis on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DERUSHA.
It's an original, and it's connecting. I like that. Exciting.
Very exciting. I'm glad to see that.
DERUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
DERUSHA. He has the eats.
Nobody brings you the Twin Cities restaurant scene like our favorite foodie. Now, Jason explores some of the great chefs, owners, and stories right in our own backyard as Drive Time transitions into DERUSHA Eats.
That was the moment last night in Chicago as Bucheron wins the James Beard Award for Best New Restaurant in America. Pretty amazing moment as we bring in one of the co-owners, the hospitality director, one half of Bucheron ownership anyway, Jeanie Janas Ritter. Jeanie, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
Just listening to that, Jason, is like, it's like I'm welling up with tears.
Well, that's what I wonder. What is that moment like? Because you're up against a very large group of other competitors here. Amazing restaurants from all over the country. And do you even think you have a chance?
No, we didn't think we had a chance the whole way. We're blown away. It's just like we were shocked and just so unbelievably excited in that moment. It's just incredible.
You and your husband created this restaurant. You have a team. A lot of the team is still the same people who were there when you opened up.
The majority of them, yeah.
Describe kind of what the vision was, because both you and your husband come from just incredible pedigree of great restaurants around town, but you wanted to do something a little different.
Yeah, so when we opened Bucheron, the main goal with it was to figure out how we could run a restaurant and do what we love and raise our kids at the same time. We have 2 little boys, they're 2 and 4. And so life is absolutely crazy, but we didn't want to believe it wasn't possible. So we built this restaurant with the team that we have. because we knew we could do it together. We knew we could do it with them. And the team is absolutely incredible. The vision behind Bucheron, it's kind of based on the bistronomy movement that happened in Paris, that started really in the 90s, where these chefs with extensive fine dining backgrounds took all of that technique and they just made it more approachable. And so that's what we are. We're a restaurant that has all of the technique of fine dining restaurants, but it's a comfortable setting. It's a beautiful setting. It's a place where you can have a special occasion, or you can just pop in for a weeknight dinner and know that you're going to get good food and good service.
Well, I don't know if you can just pop in now. I went to, I looked at the reservation site on TOC. Have you noted? I mean, I imagine like you get alerts or something, right?
So I'm here at the restaurant.
Oh, you're back.
You're back. To work. We're back. I wasn't supposed to work tonight, and we over doubled in reservations for today, and so I had to book it back here to help. And so it's just wild. It's unbelievable. But we keep the bar and the counter for walk-ins every night. Add your name to that notify list if you don't see the reservation that you want. It's really easy to do, and it works because things always become available at the last minute.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know what it's going to take to convince Minnesotans to go back to eating at the bar, but there's room. Most of the restaurants that you can't get a reservation at, you can. Now, if you're a party of 4, you maybe can't. But if you're 1 or 2, like you can almost get in anywhere in the Twin Cities at the bar.
Well, and we try to make it really easy on you. And so call us in advance. We'll put your name on the list. We'll plan a time that works, and we'll make it as easy as we can to get you a seat at the bar. So, so call us. We want you to come. We want you to eat at the bar. It's a fun bar because you get to watch all the chefs in the kitchen.
What has it been like building this? And you're in South Minneapolis, right near your neighborhood, but you've been able to build this with your husband, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. He's the most talented chef I know. I think he's amazing. And he has we've worked in great restaurants in this city, and we've worked in great restaurants around the world. And so when he was 19, he started working with Bucheron, which is this iconic French chef, and that built his foundation. And over time, he's developed a really unique style that I think is just so special. So it's getting to see him finally have this moment, getting to share it with him. It's such an honor. It's really, really incredible.
People may have encountered you, Jeanie, at Belcour and Wayzata, where you sort of ran that room. What I find really fascinating about Bucheron is that you two, I think, are creating kind of what fine dining is really going to feel like going forward. There will always be a place for like the super fancy formal experience, but having like polished not formal, but I don't even know how to describe it.
Precise. Yeah.
Precise. That's having precise service, precise technique from like people who are like your friends, kind of in a very chill environment. I think it's how I want to eat. I think it's how you guys want to eat too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the restaurant that our goal was to build the restaurant that we wanted in our neighborhood. And we have very, very high standards. We have, we want to have a great meal. You guys trust us. You spend your hard-earned money in this restaurant, and you should have great value for what you get. And we take that so seriously. But we want to have fun. And I think that most people do too. So, if you want to have that more formal experience, we can give it to you. Yeah. But we also have this team of absolute characters who have fun every single night. And I think our guests have a lot of fun when they come in too.
For people who are first learning about Bucheron from this and maybe from this conversation, like how would you describe what the food is like?
The food is, I would say, kind of has classic French technique and Minnesota flavors. So we use local produce as much as we possibly can. We do a ton of preservation. To kind of break it down, we also have steak and potatoes.
Yep.
Our goal is it's the best steak and potatoes you're ever going to have. But, for my dad, who only wants to eat steak and potatoes, this is his favorite thing in the world.
Well,
and
that Feller's Ranch Wagyu steak is beautiful. Like that is and the technique you guys use. It's so delicious.
Yeah, it's the best. It's really we source really high quality ingredients. So we work with small ranches and farms, and we've really gone out of our way to find the best quality that we can. And so we really, really believe that when you come in here, you're getting great product.
Jeanie, does this change anything for you guys, winning the James Beard Award as best new restaurant in America?
Well, the last 24 hours has been a whirlwind, so I don't know yet. As far as running the restaurant, I'm still our goal is to just keep giving great service and serving great food every single day. And we're honored to have the chance to do that. And then we're going to go home and I'm going to change diapers and clean the kitchen, and life keeps going along. It doesn't stop. But we're so excited to have the chance to do it.
How did you guys celebrate in Chicago when this, after getting this award last night?
Jason, every man on our team cried like a baby last night, and it was the best moment. Just getting to celebrate with those guys was so special. We're a family, and so we hit the after parties and had a bunch of good food. We had regulars and friends who came to celebrate with us. And then we wound up with just a small group of us at the Rainbow Club, which is a fantastic dive bar in Chicago. And we finished the night with a shot of Malort and one last beer, and a really good
as you must in Chicago, right?
Exactly.
I'm just so thrilled for you guys. The passion and the work that went into this restaurant was evident right from the first time you opened, and Alyssa and I were there to celebrate her birthday. Which, being somebody who covers food, I don't get to pick too often. You're like always got to try somewhere new.
I get that.
And it was even better than the first time. So it's pretty exciting for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Go check them out. Go visit the bar, and then reservations get released at the start of each month. So kind of a new batch will open for August on the 1st of July. But Jeanie Ritter, along with her husband, pretty awesome stuff. South Minneapolis, Bucheron. You can find it at 42nd and Nicollet in Minneapolis. Drive Time coming back in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DERUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, DERUSHA Eats is brought to you by our friends at the Minnesota Pork Board. And Minnesota Pork wants you, as you are planning your celebrations or planning your visits to restaurants, they want you to make Minnesota pork a part of the conversation. Now, are you going to get a great pork chop or a great ham at Bucheron? You better believe it. You absolutely are. Are you going to have a great pork chop or a rack of ribs at your house? I sure hope so. This is party season. So many of us have family gatherings, have big parties, all of that going on, big gatherings, family reunions, picnics. Go to your butcher shop. Let's make Minnesota pork part of that conversation. The flavor is unparalleled, and maybe you need a little inspiration, right? We all get a little kind of bored with making the same old recipes. Man, I always go to mnpork.com and click on Pork 101. That's where you'll find all of the recipes, and there's all sorts of flavors. If you like Latin flavors, or if you like French, or if you like Asian, you name it. I'm kind of excited about the air fryer pork belly taco recipe that you can find on their website right now. Go to your grocery store, go to your butcher shop. Let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
Millimarine, we sell more, that's why we sell for less.
Play before before you pay. Now at Miller Marine and Power Lodge, Minnesota's Marine and Power Sports Superstore. For a limited time, don't miss 90 days with no payments or 5.99% APR stacked on exclusive truckload price savings we're passing on directly to you. So hitch up a new 20-foot Bennington, plus a free bunk trailer, custom cover, and inflatable paddleboard or raft for only $34,999 or as low as $282 per month. Angling for more hot deals? We got fishing boats for every budget, starting at only $19,990. Ignite your summer with zero payments while you throttle up your new Bennington, Premier, Lund, Ranger, Alumacraft, Sea-Doo, Polaris, Can-Am, or CF Moto. With 5 locations in Ramsey, Brainerd, Onamia, St. Cloud, and South Rapids, we sell more, so we sell for less. But don't wait. Play before you pay and launch your adventure at Miller Marine and Power Lodge.
Miller Marine, Miller Marine, Miller Marine. We sell more, that's why we sell for less at Miller Marine.
Looking for a dependable job with a great work-life balance? Join the team at Jefferson Lines. We're hiring professional CDL drivers to become part of our team of motor coach operators. Enjoy competitive pay, full health benefits, retirement benefits, travel perks, and more. We're already your #1 bus experience. Let us be your #1 work experience, too. Visit jeffersonlines.com/careers and take the first step towards your future with Jefferson Lines today.
Construction problems come with challenges, but legal issues shouldn't be one of them. At Helmuth & Johnson, we focus on construction law, protecting contractors, developers, and business owners from costly disputes. From contract negotiations to litigation and compliance, we make sure your projects stay on track and your interests stay protected. Whether it's a delay, a dispute, or a deal, we've got you covered. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side.
When it comes to DSPs, usability matters. Some platforms bury you in complexity. Results-driven advertising shouldn't look like a chemistry experiment. Viant's AI-powered DSP streamlines setup, automates measurement and optimization, and keeps you in control. Less clicking, more strategy. And with proven CTV leadership across premium publishers, Viant works smarter and delivers stronger. Why are you still trading on a desk? Visit Viant.ai to unlock real results today.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are still crawling on Highway 100 at Crosstown due to that crash we talked about earlier. So be prepared to be on the brakes. If you're headed west on 494 past 13, that's on the bridge over Gun Club Lake over kind of by the airport. There is a crash which has been moved to the shoulder. Slowdowns on both sides. You got the accident on one side and gawkers on the other side. A crash on the eastbound side of Highway 36 at Cleveland Avenue is slowing things down, so be prepared. That's your traffic. I'm Darren Kmeyer on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Weather brought to you by Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan. At Dickeys.com tonight, 65 is the low. Tomorrow, 80 is the high. It's going to then get stinking hot for the next couple of days. Right now, it's 78 on CCO.
Drive Time with DERUSHA is getting rolling again. Perfect. On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Texters asking if Jeanie Ritter would consider opening and managing Buc-ee's in Minneapolis. Why not? We got Bucheron and Buc-ee's.
Well, then you really would call it Bookies. I mean, you'd have to, right?
Chris Eggert has just been relentless.
And savaging you.
That's fair. I'll take the hits. It's all right. Bookies. So stupid. That's great. We're having a graduation party at the DERUSHA house this weekend.
Why wasn't I invited? No, I'm kidding.
I did text So this is one of those weird things, right? Like a bunch of us are sort of having graduations here at CCO. Do you invite, like I invite many coworkers, not all.
Just ones that you have personal relationships with, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That seems logical.
I cleaned out the garage today and I weeded the backyard. Do you think my wife just doesn't trust me with the real jobs that have to do with the party?
Yes.
So stupid. So stupid. The news coming up.
Advantage Seamless Gutters is now Advantage Home Pros. New look, same pros. Still locally owned and now taking care of all your gutter and roofing needs. Summer is around the corner. Don't spend your weekends on a ladder cleaning your gutters when you could be spending time with family and planning that summer trip. Trust your local gutter pros. Advantage Home Pros. Now your local custom roofing pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials, our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com.
Heading out for the weekend? Lucky you!
Don't forget to stop at Thieler Meats of Piers for some melt-in-your-mouth moments.
High quality beef.
Fresh and smoked sausages and brats.
Home smoked bacon.
All natural chicken.
A great selection of fish and seafood.
Visit us at ThielerMeats.com.
We've got the cuts that'll make your meal.
Call to order ahead and pick up on your way to the lake.
You'll be the hit of the party.
No meals complete without Thieler Meats of Piers.
The success you've had in life matters. The late nights, the extra shifts, the moments you've stood up and said, I've got this. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we value your achievements because we're a school for real life. With UMGC, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day to graduation day and beyond. As an accredited state university, we've been transforming lives for over 75 years. Choose from more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, and get ready to succeed again. Get an affordable online skills-based education to move your career forward. UMGC offers no-cost digital materials in place of textbooks in most courses, low-cost tuition, and over $21 million in scholarship opportunities each aid year. Find out if you qualify at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
An air conditioner at Metro Heating and Cooling is, on average, only $5,400 installed. Find out more at metroheating.com.
Minnesota's #1 for the latest breaking news. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 KMNB HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump met with his security advisors in the Situation Room today to discuss Iran. Linda Kenyon reports.
Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, Vice President J.D. Vance, and some of the top military brass were among those spotted emerging from the meeting that lasted roughly an hour and 20 minutes. Sources tell CBS News President Trump is considering joining Israel in conducting airstrikes against Iran's nuclear sites. The advisors reportedly are not in full agreement on that point.
And there is opposition among some Republicans. Senator Rand Paul.
The president has shown restraint in the past. The president's instincts are good, and I'm hoping the president will not get involved with the war.
Earlier today, Trump posted on social media that the U.S. is aware of where Iran's supreme leader is hiding, but Trump doesn't want him killed for now. CBS's Holly Williams in northern Iraq has been talking to Iranians fleeing their country.
They've been telling us that they are frightened. They've never seen anything like this before, and they say that many Iranians are stockpiling food and fuel. Some of those Iranians have told us that they believe that the Iranian regime itself is frightened, and one man even told us that he thinks this could bring down the Iranian regime.
Reporter Robert Berger says many Israelis are sleeping in bomb shelters, but hopeful the war will end the threat for good.
Israelis are encouraged by what they've seen so far in this war. Israel has superiority in the skies. It's obviously winning this war, and they're hoping that this will eventually end the Iranian nuclear threat.
The State Department has set up a task force to assist Americans in leaving the region. Rachel Levin Albert is stranded in southern Israel.
We don't know how long we'll be here. And so we're trying our best just to kind of take things day by day, hour by hour, but we're also attempting to prepare because we have no idea how long we will need to stay in Israel.
CBS's Scott McFarland reports the Trump administration's downsizing at some federal agencies is becoming more apparent. At the Justice Department, for instance.
The agency has been gutted in the opening months of the second Trump administration, losing at least 4,000 employees, 4% of the workforce. Some were fired, some retired. Many took that fork in the road resignation offer from Elon Musk before their programs were cut or their jobs were cut.
700 FBI agent positions are currently vacant. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has been hospitalized. She had an allergic reaction and was hospitalized out of an abundance of caution, according to a spokesperson. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour on the hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy skies, 80 degrees now at 5:03. Good afternoon. I'm Susie Jones. Happening now, a formal procession for Melissa and Mark Hortman, both gunned down in their home over the weekend in a politically motivated attack. Their remains were transported from the medical examiner's office in Minnetonka to Washburn-McCreevy in South Minneapolis. There was a large bus with family members inside to accompany the hearse. The accused assassin, 57-year-old Vance Belter, is facing state and federal charges of murder and attempted murder. The parents of Melissa Hortman are speaking out in the aftermath of the horrific death. Her father, Harry Huplitzik, described his daughter and how we might remember her and her values.
We all got to remember what a wonderful person she was and Mark was, and set that example for ourselves in our own life.
Her mother, Linda, says this is not a time for hate.
There was a time not that long ago when we could all work together, and whatever steps we need to get back there, I don't know how we do it, but we all have to try, and if it's one person at a time, we have to make it happen.
Minnesota U.S. Senators Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith are delivering speeches this afternoon on the Senate floor to honor the life and legacy of Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark. Klobuchar spoke first with photographs of the family behind her as she spoke of Melissa Hortman.
She was a generational leader, and she led with integrity and with courage. She, like her husband, Mark, who you see here, who also was accomplished in business and a kind person. They were compassionate and they were smart and they were just nice to everyone. And I can't believe they are gone.
Plans for a candlelit vigil tomorrow night on the steps of the Minnesota State Capitol to pay tribute to the Hortmans. It starts at 8 o'clock, runs till 9:30 tomorrow night. There will be no speakers. People are encouraged to bring candles, but not signs. Since the tragic event, hundreds of people have stopped at a growing memorial on the steps of the Capitol and at the desk of House Speaker Emerita Hortman. DFL State Representative Zach Stevenson worked with her for many years and says this kind of evil is never acceptable and should not end up deterring people from public service.
Minnesota politics should be safe for everyone. It should be civil. It should be respectful. It should be constructive. And those were all things that were indicative of how Melissa Hortman approached the job.
No word yet on when funeral arrangements will be held for the two. WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Let's start up in the north. If you're headed east on 694 at exit 225 near Brooklyn Center, look out for a crash, some slowing going on up there just south of the Fish Lake interchange. On 494 between Schmidt Lake Road and Bass Lake Road, there is a crash, so be prepared to slow down over there. Cedar Avenue North alongside the airport, right around 66th Street, there is an accident on the shoulder. If you're on 35E headed north at Roselawn, an accident being reported. That one's on the shoulder. Traffic's moving okay, but be prepared. Eastbound on 94 at County Road 33, there is a crash and things are backing up. 35E northbound between 108, which is Pennsylvania and Maryland. Another crash being reported. That's your look at the roads. I'm Darren Kmeyer on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Have you seen the wind or hail affect your home? Honest Exteriors offers thorough inspections and can be your advocate with those tricky insurance companies. From the first raindrop to the final nail, Honest Exteriors is with you. Local pros, honest work. HonestExteriors.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
It is brought to you this time by Honest Exteriors. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer with the forecast.
Pretty quiet around here, and I like it. Mostly cloudy tonight, 65 the overnight low. Will be mostly cloudy tomorrow. A few isolated afternoon showers are possible. High up near 80. Thursday, warm, 87 with a partly cloudy sky. Rain popping late that spills into Friday morning. This weekend is going to be hot and humid with highs in the 90s.
Right now, partly cloudy skies and 80 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jump back to the moments and segments you missed. Download the Odyssey app now.
To keep updated on
what's going on in the community and in the world.
The Odyssey app makes it easy.
Search News Talk 830 WCCO and tap earlier today to get started. No suit, no tie, just DERUSHA. It's drive time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
You're watching the cool brainwashing 12-year-old and younger station that hides behind a slick image. We're so cool that we decide what's cool. And now, here's your host,
Jason DERUSHA.
Susie Jones, everybody. There she goes. She's applauding herself as she walks out of the studio, which is honestly, it's a move after my own heart. That is spectacular. Drive time on the air. Welcome. We got Twins baseball on at 5:30 today. So pregame at 5:30, first pitch after 6. And the Twins are in Cincinnati. So David Festa for the Twins, first pitch at 6:10. We're going to be live at Target Field on Monday.
We're going to be there, yeah.
You know why we're there? CCO gave tickets to Seth and his girlfriend. So we are there to make sure there's no funny business.
I think that's smart. Very smart.
No funny business. Nobody wants that. It's Seth's birthday on the same day as Sam's graduation party. So Seth's do I get to give that as a birthday present? The free tickets to the station? Why not?
No.
Why not? Doesn't seem right.
Okay.
Just because I got it for free?
Yeah.
It has value. What if I got a car for free and then I gave it to Seth? Would that count?
I mean, there's a slight difference between the value of a car and the value of a couple of ball seats, but
Fair enough. 5:10. Let's do the D-Rush Hour News headlines.
Now, time to get you caught up on some of the biggest stories of the day. These are the DeRush Hour headlines.
Good evening. Our top story.
This just in.
Our top story.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight.
We begin with the lead.
And the lead story is the continued fallout around the country when it comes to discussions about security for our elected officials. Here in Minnesota, we started talking about it almost immediately after the politically motivated assassination of the former Speaker of the Minnesota House, Melissa Hortman. While securing our Capitol certainly would not have prevented what happened in the early morning hours of Saturday, the issue of attacks and threats and danger when it comes to public officials, it's been front and center not only here but around the country. And our Capitol, as State Senator John Marty knows very well, is wide open. It's part of the charm, John, of that Capitol, but it is also perhaps time to take a look at the reality of our world and make some changes, right?
That's exactly right, Jason. It's a balance between accessibility and security, and I don't like metal detectors, but any courthouse in the state has metal detectors. And 5 years ago or so, there were courthouses, state capitals in Idaho and Michigan and Indiana and so on, where there were folks dressed as if they're dressed for war and combat coming into state capitals and waving semi-automatic weapons at legislators and others trying to intimidate them and so on. And fortunately, there haven't been any deadly incidents in state capitals, but you don't want to wait until it happens. And this terrible tragedy last week, which, I mean, I'll say as an individual who knew the victims and was friends with the victims, Melissa and Mark Hortman were some of the nicest people in the world. And just to see this happen, it just guts you. But so I think there's all of a sudden now we've got to start taking this seriously. And at a minimum, I think we should not be allowing guns in the state capitol. I have a legislation to do that for a number of years. But now is the time we ought to be looking at, unfortunately, looking at things like metal detectors, too.
You know, yesterday we had Paul Gazelka on the show, and he was talking about the fact that near the end of his time in the legislature, he was carrying his own gun, which because of you know, the fact that we're in the sort of post George Floyd murder, the riots that were happening, he said he had protests at his house, all of that sort of thing. Is the right way to go to ban? Do you think the ban is the way to go?
I think the ban is the right way to go for two reasons. One, it's safer for everybody involved. I don't want to have, I mean, the issue, and whenever they've talked about guns in schools, teachers say guns, you know, kind of thing. Whenever you talk that way, you have to realize you might be able to protect yourself with a gun. Somebody else might get control of your gun. I just think the idea that the reason we don't allow guns in courthouses is because the risk. There are plenty of armed sheriffs in any courthouse in the state. And nevertheless, there's a reason we don't want guns there. And part of the reason is people have used guns to intimidate. They use guns anytime there's a hearing on gun violence at the Capitol. There are a whole bunch of people who start carrying guns to those hearings, not because the hearings are any more dangerous, but because they're trying to intimidate. And I think we can have honest, good, fierce political discourse without bringing guns to the scene. And to me, I think we should be banning guns from the Capitol. And at this point, I think there's a need for looking very seriously at the other security measures like metal detectors, which, again, any courthouse in the state, you'll go through them.
I mean, to me, the metal detector is sort of a no-brainer. Like, you know, after what happened on January 6th, we saw all around the country many state capitals that had been as open as the Minnesota Capitol is, kind of adding those metal detectors. We were one of, I think, about a dozen states that remained open. And I love that we stay open as a reporter, as a citizen. I love that our house is open. But man, what happened this weekend is a reminder that there is either evil or mental illness or whatever out there. It's just not worth the risk.
I think I'm at the same conclusion you're at, as much as I don't like it because it feels more intimidating just to walk through those, and you have to close a lot of entrances because you can't have security at each entrance to a building. So you have to close a lot of entrances to the public. But I think we're at the stage in life where, unfortunately, we need to do that.
State Senator John Marty, DFLer, with us on CCO. Could you see a compromise scenario where maybe guns were banned, but if you are an elected official, you would be allowed to do it? I just picture Republican legislators and gun rights groups are going to be very against this, as they have been in the past.
Right. And that's the difficulty about it. I mean, to me, 50 years ago, Ronald Reagan is governor of California. He's the one who pushed for banning guns in their capital. Black Panthers had come in there armed protests in the Capitol, and the governor and both parties in the legislature said this is not a safe situation. They banned guns back then. It seems to me that that's something we should be doing. And again, Minnesota stands out because we're one of the few that does so little about this. To me, I think we'll all be safer if we don't have guns in the Capitol, not just banning them, but also the metal detection to make sure nobody's carrying. Because one tragedy like this, I mean, it just throws the whole political world into into chaos. We shouldn't be deciding things by who gets assassinated. The same thing when people attempted to assassinate the president last year. I mean, all those things are just so totally antithetical to everything in our democracy, everything we care about. And to me, I think we've crossed the point now where, unfortunately, we may have to do this. And there is a task force. There's advisory council, advisory commission or something on capital security that's been discussing this for the last number of years. But this tragedy last weekend certainly ups the ante on dealing with that now.
John Marty, thank you. State Senator John Marty, and he's talking about that advisory committee on capital area security. Ramsey County Sheriff, Republican Bob Fletcher, had asked for metal detectors and x-ray machines. And let's be honest, it's the normal stuff you have when you go to see a play or when you go to a sporting event. It is time to have it at the state capitol. Second up in the lead is a massive move by one of the nation's largest food companies, Kraft Heinz. You know them for their ketchup. You know them for Kraft macaroni and cheese. They are saying they will remove all chemical dyes from their products by the end of 2027. That'll change the way your Kool-Aid looks or your Jell-O or your Crystal Light. They are using red dye number 40, blue dye number 1. The first major food company to officially announce they were going to be done with this. This, of course, has been a big push by the new Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And to get some insight on this, we visit with the Director of Label and Ingredient Reviews for Registrar Corp., Anna Benavente, who deals with this sort of FDA approval, ingredients. This is a key part of her job, and she's with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. How big of a deal is this, Anna?
It's really kind of groundbreaking in a number of different ways, Jason. I was pretty shocked when I heard it. And it comes, on the heels of FDA making an announcement back in April that they were going to seek voluntary removal of these synthetic colors by industry. The announcement didn't say that they were going to put forth any regulations, that they were just going to work with industry to try and get this done. And so we were actually pretty surprised, though, because we didn't know whether or not industry would be very receptive to this. To reformulate, particularly for a company Kraft size, with the number of products that they have, to reformulate an entire marketplace worth of products is a pretty big lift. And so, we were wondering whether or not anybody was going to kind of get on board, but it certainly seems that they have.
Yeah, they said 10% of their product line, which, for you and me, 10% maybe isn't much, but if you're a Kraft freaking Heinz, like 10% is a lot of products. Jell-O, Crystal Light, on and on. They've already taken some of the dyes out of mac and cheese, which I think maybe consumers didn't even notice, which that would be the ideal, right? If you could do it where people don't look at the Jell-O and say, like, this looks weird, I don't want to buy it anymore.
Right. Yeah. Consumer acceptance is going to be a really big part of this. Yet, like you say, I don't know that people realize that the Kraft mac and cheese, although given the orange color, maybe they should have guessed.
Yes.
But they don't seem to have, realized or, no sort of negative reactions, from consumers regarding that. So consumer acceptance, I think, is a big part of it because a lot of those colors are very vivid. And so to reproduce that with a naturally sourced color is going to be a challenge. That's part of the challenge of reformulating these products.
We have seen this being in Minnesota, the home of General Mills. I remember when General Mills tried to take the food dyes out of a number of their cereals, and the consumers overwhelmingly said, we don't like this. I do wonder if, from your conversations with other companies going through discussions about this, perhaps the desire of the consumer has changed, and they're cool with the fact that the colors are going to look a little different.
Yeah, I think you've really honed in on, the change back in 2015. There's so much more, on social media and in the press about synthetic colors and a lot more demand from consumers that companies find natural alternatives. There's a heightened interest, I think, in, what's being added to our food. And so I think we stand a much better chance now of these types of changes being accepted and demanded by consumers rather than what General Mills faced all those years ago.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's a heavy lift for sure, and we'll see if other companies jump in as well. Anna Benavente from Registrar Corp. We appreciate you being with us. Thanks, Anna.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Rush Hour News headlines, page 2 after the break. Pickleball. Is it really that obnoxiously loud? This is an issue in so many suburbs. Do you really have to wait 30 minutes to swim after eating? And are we done as a society because of that Sydney Sweeney soap? Rush Hour. Leading you up to Twins baseball pregame here on CCO.
Drive Time with DERUSHA is on News Talk 830 WCCO.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You know that feeling when you're about to cut into a juicy steak and hope it tastes as perfect as it looks? Well, worry no more. The Chef IQ Sense is a wireless cooking thermometer that eliminates under or overcooking your chicken, fish, or meat, whether on the stovetop, oven, or grill. The probe is inserted into your food and connected wirelessly to an app. Once you select your desired doneness, the app alerts you when to take the steaks off the grill or the turkey out of the oven. It's that simple. Order one now on chefiq.com. That's chefiq.com.
612 Saturdays are back at Target Field. Enjoy $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food when gates open.
I'm from the 952. Can I enjoy 612 Saturdays?
The 952 is welcome.
I'm from the 218.
218, 651. Everyone is welcome at 612 Saturdays.
I'm from the 313. How about me?
That's Detroit.
Yeah.
Sure. Enjoy the weekend wind-up with 612 Saturdays presented by Carbliss. $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food. When we're together, the Twins rise as one. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Do you know what the scariest sound to hear on a factory floor is? Silence. That means something somewhere broke. Production has stopped, and now you're paying your workers to wait while the team troubleshoots and tries to fix the problem. Finally, there's a proactive way to reduce equipment downtime, thanks to MaintainX. MaintainX is the asset management system that brings your maintenance downtime to zero. MaintainX lets you build preventative maintenance schedules, manage work orders in real time, and access the data you need to make better decisions. Downtime equals death in the production world, so make unplanned downtime a thing of the past. Try MaintainX for free. Control the daily operations of your business and transform your maintenance program by going to maintainx.com. That's maintain and the letter X.com.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
This is Drive Time with DERUSHA.
You are speaking the truth, Jason.
DERUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's take the current temp of your Minnesota Twins. Brought to you by Chef IQ Sense. Get your wireless meat thermometer now at chefiq.com.
Well, the temp for Randy from Shorewood is very good, as he just won a 4-pack of tickets for the game on Thursday, June 26 against the Mariners. The temp for our Minnesota Twins, well, let's hope that day off helped out.
Hard to call that temp anything other than cold when you just got broomed in your last series, you know?
Straight up swept by the Astros.
And Royce Lewis is back on the IL. Buxton's back tonight. He's back in the lineup. That's one good sign.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
We're glad they'll be coming home after this series in Cincinnati. Two pretty evenly matched teams, but we'll see how the Twins do. But their temp is cold right now.
Pretty chilly.
Let's do page 2 before we get to the Twins pregame. Start with pickleball. Pickleball noise serves up drama and police calls. Is that loud? Is it that loud? Minnesota Star Tribune with the story. And they are saying that there is a certain frequency of that particular ball, that pop, 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 little high pitch. One neighbor of a pickleball court says, I would correlate it to somebody pounding on your roof with a hammer, putting up shingles day after day after day after day. Apple Valley has paid for sound studies. Maple Grove had a petition, a couple of police calls. They've banned pickleball at certain tennis courts. This is going to be an issue in Apple Valley. There is another neighborhood. Sound engineers say it's really difficult because the frequency is so strange. The best choice is to put pickleball courts near traffic, not in traffic. Although, do you really have to wait 30 minutes after you eat before you go swimming? No. Washington Post saying this is one of the dumbest kind of mom's things they tell you. There's no evidence. Has nothing to do with drowning. Eating does not cause you to cramp up, which leads to drowning. So don't worry about it. And Sydney Sweeney's bath soap is sold out. I think Sydney Sweeney is kind of in on the joke. As sad as it is,
so.
As sad as it is that you sickos are buying her bath water soap, I think that's more on you than her. USA Today with that story. Let's get a Twins win tonight. Dan and I will be back tomorrow.
The following is a presentation of Odyssey Sports, presented by Indeed.